people who don't understand it will say, well, just be happy. I finally decided to post videos on YouTube this year, mainly because I felt like the community was getting stronger about mental health awareness. This year, there were the suicides of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, which really affected my husband and I. And this past month, I noticed a lot of my favorite YouTubers making videos and speaking out about depression and suicide. I feel like there are a lot of people out there who are like me. They normally stay quiet and suffer alone, and they try to look online for someone they can relate to because there's no one that they can talk to in real life. So I thought I could take the chance to post these videos. Maybe I can relate to one person. Maybe I can help one person, and it'll all be worth it. So my husband and I, we both suffer from depression. And honestly, that does take a toll on our relationship. It does make it hard for our relationships to stay afloat. If we're both depressed at the same time, we both stop caring, our health suffers, our house gets dirty. It's like we both have to take turns to pretend to be strong for one another. We have to say uplifting things and encourage each other to push on. Sometimes that kind of annoys me because I can be on my corner of the bed crying quietly, and then I'll hear him crying out loud on his side of the bed, and I feel like I need to stop and comfort him. And it makes me feel like I can't be sad, and he doesn't know I'm sad unless I tell him later on. There are two things that bother me the most about depression. The first is that people who don't understand it will say, well, just be happy. Or they'll say, you look normal, you don't look depressed. Most people who are depressed are not going to look like they're depressed. That's why it's so surprising when they commit suicide, because no one knows the thoughts that are in their head and no one sees it coming. Throughout high school, I actually had a lot of people ask me why I look so sad, because my resting face was a frown and I'd always walk around the hallways looking down. Did looking sad actually help my situation? No. So it made it easier for me to learn to fake everything. A smile here, laughter there. If it was so easy to be happy, don't you think we'd all choose to be happy? Actually, I'll admit, I'm guilty of telling my husband to choose to be happy. Because there are some days where you're depressed and you want to burrito in bed all day long. And then there are days when you choose not to. You choose to be productive. You want to go to the gym, maybe cook a meal. And so that's what I mean by choosing to be happy. It's not necessarily waking up on the other side of the bed with a smile saying, hey, I'm happy today. Today's gonna be great. But it's the fact that you're making an effort to not let your emotions take control of you. You're choosing not to be depressed all day long. You can maybe cry for an hour and then move on with your day. But let's be honest, that's really hard to do. You have to be really strong to do that. I mean, most mornings I think I'm okay, but then I'll lay in bed, maybe checking things on my phone. I'll see something that changes my mood, and I'll feel like crap all day long. The second thing that bothers me is people like my mom who say that they know how I'm feeling, that they've been depressed before and now they're happy. And for her, it was because she had breast cancer. To me, that's situational depression. She's depressed because she had breast cancer. Maybe you're depressed because you lost your job or you got divorced. So it's something that's happening in your life that causes you to be sad. But then when it's gone and you move on and life gets better, you become happy. That's not how it is for us. We don't know why we're depressed. Almost every day my husband tells me, I feel sad, and I ask why, and he can't explain. We don't know why we're depressed. We don't know why it starts, why it happens, and we don't know how to make it better. It just consumes us and overwhelms us. The first time I thought about killing myself, I was only 10 years old. And it was for something really stupid too. Like, I didn't want to go to Chinese school. I took a knife and I threatened my parents that I'd kill myself if they made me go. That's not normal behavior for a 10-year-old. Who made me think that way? Who made me think that that was an okay way to act? I have no idea. I got better about it by the end of middle school because I had a boyfriend in 8th grade that always threatened me that he would kill himself if I left him. He was always depressed and saying that he was ready to cut himself. When we moved on to high school, he didn't want me to find someone new. I ended up breaking up with him anyway because I didn't know how to deal with that. But luckily, he didn't kill himself. He was depressed for a while, but he moved on. High school was when my grandma passed away and when my mom had breast cancer. I wouldn't necessarily say I was depressed during that time, but I was definitely numb. I didn't know how to express my feelings with my friends, so I just tried to act like a normal teenager, talk about boys and whatever. I think because of the suppressed feelings, I was an emotional wreck during college. I felt like I needed something in my life that I can take control of, except for the fact that I was in a long distance relationship and we were constantly fighting and causing drama. He never really appreciated me and he was always looking at and talking to other girls, which made me completely insecure the entire time. We definitely weren't meant to be together at that point in time, but we ended up staying together for 7.5 years because it was comfortable. I was never happy and I kept telling him that that all I had were bad memories. I couldn't remember anything good. Countless times during that relationship, I thought about how I could kill myself, but I also realized that maybe he wouldn't even care. And I badly wanted someone to care. There was a time near the end of our relationship where we had a really bad fight, and I ended up cutting words into my arms and my thighs. And even to this day, the scars are still there. Moving on from that was how I met my husband. We were both getting out of bad relationships, and we both wanted to heal each other's pain. And it's still an everyday struggle. I always fear that if we have kids, will we be able to teach them how to live happily, or will they end up just as depressed as us? I started seeing a therapist, and I made the mistake of telling my husband that I'm depressed. I'm having so much trouble dealing with my own depression that I can't deal with your problems. You should go see a therapist too. Never, ever shut out someone with depression. What if you were their only lifeline? My husband felt like if he couldn't talk to me, he couldn't talk to anyone. And so now every day I'm trying to work on fixing my mistake. I try to get him to express his feelings so that I can help him through it. For me, I don't have trouble expressing how I feel. If I want to drive off an overpass, if I want to crash into walls or overdose on pills, I let him know. And it's not so much about thinking these things, it's about planning it out. I think about what's going to happen to my money, what happens to my things. I don't want my life to be a burden on others, so I make sure that if I'm gone, it's okay to be gone. If you can't talk to a therapist, try to find at least one person you trust that you can tell things to. And I really hope that that person listens and can help you deal with your pain. I guess the takeaway here is that you never know what someone else is going through. They might have it much worse than you and not even show it. That's why we should all be kind and respectful to one another and help each other out. The world is going to be a much better place if we replace all the hate with love. Sometimes a random smile on the street or striking up a conversation with a stranger can totally change their mood and uplift their day. If someone's planning to commit suicide, they're usually just searching for that one person to show them that they have a reason to live.